When I'm lying in my bed I think about life and I think about death, and neither one particularly appeals to me. What's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning? Wish I hadn't. Women don't go to war to kill other women. Wars and armies and nuclear weapons are essentially heterosexual hobbies. You can't help but feel that the Chinese are a subspecies. Life's full of tricky snakes and ladders. I do maintain that if your hair is wrong, your entire life is wrong. The monarchy is foremost a business, and it's important to them that the British public continue to finance the excessive luxurious lifestyles of the now quite enormous, wasteful and useless royal family. I find it very sad. Age shouldn't affect you. It's just like the size of your shoes. They don't determine how you live your life. You're either marvelous or you're boring, regardless of your age. Reggae is vile. We're all lonely, but I'd rather be lonely by myself than with a long list of duties and obligations. I think that's why people kill themselves, really. I have no love for myself as a human being, but I have immense pride in the music I make. Pop music has progressed. I'm capable of looking on the bright side. I just don't do it very often. Artists aren't really people. I'm actually 40% papier-mâché. If anyone has seen the horrific and unwatchable footage of the Chinese cat and dog trade, animals skinned alive, then they could not possibly argue in favor of China as a caring nation. There are no animal protection laws in China, and this results in the worst animal abuse and cruelty on the planet. It is indefensible. I'm cursed with the gift of foresight. War, I thought, was the most negative aspect of male heterosexuality. If more men were homosexual, there would be no wars, because homosexual men would never kill other men, whereas heterosexual men love killing other men. The rhino is now more or less extinct, and it's not because of global warming or shrinking habitats. It's because of Beyoncé's handbags. It's always nice to receive a compliment. The royal family to me are not England, and they are not the flag. I swim when I can, but I don't work out. I'm not an anarchist, but I believe that people don't want the royal family, the so-called royal family. My family, although they're very large on both my parents' sides, they don't know much about their family tree. Occasionally, they try to dig, but they can't get very far, and it's baffling. In Dublin, it seems that so many public records were wiped out. It's proven to be very difficult, so I know very little. My parents were worried about me, certainly when I became so deeply interested in music and people like the New York Dolls who, at the time, were very peculiar indeed. The paradox is that I have no love for myself as a human being, but I have immense pride in the music I make, and I believe it has an important place. Others do, too, and the thousands of people with Morrissey tattoos certainly prove something. With the issue of immigration, it's very difficult because, although I don't have anything against people from other countries, the higher the influx into England, the more the British identity disappears. People don't like me. I still prefer horses to human beings. Peru, Peru, my heart's lighthouse. Long hair is an unpardonable offense which should be punishable by death. I have found the best way to avoid ending your life as a bitter wreck is to start out as one. England is a memory now. The gates are flooded and anybody can have access to England and join in. There's no such thing as good news in America. Congratulations to Prince Charles for banning foie gras from all his functions. The Queen is the ultimate dictator. Obviously Madonna reinforces everything absurd and offensive. Racism is beyond common sense and has no place in our society. Age gives you a great sense of proportion. You can be very hard on yourself when you're younger, but now I just think, well, everybody's absolutely mad and I'm doing quite well. I am unable to watch the Olympics due to the blustering jingoism that drenches the event. Has England ever been quite so foul with patriotism? The dazzling royals have, quite naturally, hijacked the Olympics for their own empirical needs, and no oppositional voice is allowed in the free press. Although I don't have anything against people from other countries, the higher the influx into England the more the British identity disappears. If you travel to Germany, it's still absolutely Germany. If you travel to Sweden, it still has a Swedish identity. It could be construed that the reason I wouldn't wish to live in England is the immigration explosion, and that's not true at all. I do think it's possible to go through life and never fall in love, or find someone who loves you. I hated the royal wedding. If you walk through Knightsbridge on any bland day of the week, you won't hear an English accent. You'll hear every accent under the sun apart from the British accent. Those Catholics, they really nab you when you're young. The Smiths was an incredibly personal thing to me. It was like launching your own diary to music. I know LA well, but it's a police state. There has to reach a point where you've said enough. That was the problem with the celibate word, because they don't consider for a moment that you'd rather not be, but you just are. I was never a sexual person. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.